Hi, welcome back. Hope everybody is home in the lockdown. Yes, I'm without a mask because I'm just standing with the bikes here, and I wanted to talk about something. There's nobody around here though. What we're going to be talking about today is the battery maintenance, especially, and if the bike is or the car has a charge down completely, and how you can actually use a jump starter to get it started. A few key things that you can buy for keeping the battery in basic good health, because right now I'm very sure that over the last year or so a lot of people would have traveled very few kilometers. Now that is good for yourself, of course, but on the motorcycle or the car, it takes a hit on the battery. You can do a little bit of maintenance at home itself, which will ensure that its life is increased. So let's get started, and let me tell you what are the things that you will need, and what are the things you can actually do at home. Okay, let's dive into the actual content, where the first thing I'll be talking about is this multimeter. So it's actually good for everybody who's an automobile enthusiast, or if not also, to have this at home, because at this times maintaining your vehicle's battery is important. So this is one of them, which is a start. So the one I'm using here is from CTEK MAS 830L, very basic, nothing special. It's about 400 to 700 in your local electrical shop, or on Amazon. So let me just keep this in a way that even the people who have never done this before will be able to give it a shot. So the red you see is a positive lead, and the black is a common one. So what you do is the black one goes into the common here, or negative in terms, and the red one, positive, goes into the milliamps or volts or ohms here. So plug that into it. Now a lot of talk here will be specifically to the Tiger, because that's the bike of talk here, but the concept is the same, and how you check it is going to remain the same even on your car or on your bike. So what we are going to do right now is, I haven't started the bike for the last 2 weeks, so let me just make sure that the key is off here, and I just want to check the voltage at its standing position right now, that is, the bike hasn't been started. So what we do first now is, this is DC, any battery basically gives a DC, and this is a 12 volt battery. So put it in a range of 20 and just leave it aside, and the black goes to the negative of the battery. And how do you find out? So that there will be a minus here and a plus on the other side. So the minus indicates that it is a negative terminal, and the positive that it is a positive one. So right now just plug the leads in, and on my battery it is about 12.75 volts at standstill, so which means that it's actually holding charge, and I don't have any leakage current even after about 2-3 weeks of usage. So what I'll actually do right now is, maybe I'll just start it, and then you will actually be able to see that when the vehicle starts, there will be a drop in voltage, which is common, that's how it works. Okay, this is not the best thing to be doing, but okay, we'll just plug that in. Yeah, so let me just turn that on. The voltage drops here as soon as my fuel pump turns on, so from 12.75 to 12.43, which is not a problem at all. And at this point I have nothing turned on except just the fuel pump. So let me just pull in the clutch and start the bike. We'll see until what voltage it drops. And okay, so the charging here at idle on my bike happens at about 4.15 or 4.2 volts constant. So this is just on idling. Now this will vary with every single bike, so let me just turn this off, or okay, rev it a little to see. Okay. So on this bike, if you see, right, there is always headlights on. That is both of them, which are two 55 watt bulbs, which draws 110 watts in total. So the alternator and the RR unit on this adventure bike will be designed differently compared to the other regular road bikes. So the charging or the optimum charging varies accordingly on each brand and each bike. So the best thing would be to do is open your owner's manual and refer as to at what voltage do they mention that it is best for the bike to charge optimally. Now let's say you stay in an apartment where the bike is parked in the basement and you also have a free flow exhaust, so this will not be the best thing that you should be doing. So it's not apt that you start it all the time and rev it, because you will piss the neighbors off. So in this, what is the best thing that will be is get a trickle charger. Now a trickle charger is something which is not that very expensive, but it's something that you buy it once and can be used across all your bikes, cars, and what else, I mean any other vehicle with a battery basically. The next thing that we'll talk about is the trickle charging. So for home use, right, you can get one of these chargers. So the one that I'm using is the NOCO Genius one. So this is a 1 amp charger, and I mean this is just one of the brands. Like this you have multiple from Optimate and Battery Tender, so several of them. So what this primarily intends to do is it takes the AC power, that is the power from your home, and it would charge up the battery according to the voltage it needs. So it's quite straightforward. So in the box, nothing much. Let me just leave this aside. So here you have the crocodile clips and a part of the charger here which goes into the AC socket. Let's actually connect that here quickly. So it's quite easy. It's something that I can do it on the cam itself. So let's just press that plugs in. Then the leads, same as what I mentioned, the negative to negative and the positive to the positive lead, and the rest goes into the wall socket. So I've actually taken an extension box here because I don't have a socket close to home. So yeah, so what this particular does, or most of the chargers do, is that like you can see here, right, it senses that it is a 12 volt battery, or in my case it's a 12 volt AGM. So let me put that to it, that mode, and just let it charge. So it will actually detect, and here you can see that it's on the charging mode. So right now you might ask me that we had the right volts and why is it still charging. So if I can actually take the voltmeter now, or otherwise let me see it on the bike that I have. The volts that you will be able to see now is it's at 13.2 that it's charging at. Now what this actually does is it senses the voltage on the battery already. It could either be low voltage and the charger decides that it needs to be bumped up, or if it finds out that the battery is already charged, then it keeps it at that particular voltage. As and when the voltage drops, it restarts back again and brings it up to the voltage that it should be in. Now the advantage of these trickle chargers is you have a close parking, all you can do is plug this in and leave it there. Now these lugs, right, these can be removed and plugged to the battery, and from the side you can just put it to the wall socket. So that will ensure that the battery's condition is always charged, and at any point of time, irrespective of you use it after 3 months, the battery is in shape. Now this is a 1 amp charger. Basically you can call it slow. Now for the smaller batteries, the slower it is, the better. And if you have a car battery, you can as well go to the next models, which will supply about 3 amps 4 amps based on the capacity of the battery. Now this will definitely charge my car's battery too, which is about 80 amps, but the time taken by this will be much longer compared to the other chargers that I have. So for the car, I use one with a larger amperage output, and for the bike I stick with this. But so right now, like I've done this, just plug it and leave it, and if I check back in about an hour or two, the charger there should have turned into the green. Okay, so this is something which I'll actually share the link up in the description, so you can look at and buy. There are dealers in India itself for various models, and I mean, I stay in Bangalore, so there are ones within Bangalore itself which I can share that, and you could order and get it home even during the lockdown. Okay, now let's actually move on to the next one that I'm going to be talking about, which is a jump starter. Now in case you don't have this, so what you can do is you could always look up to buy a jump starter or a jumper cable. Now let's say you have another bike, and that its battery is in a good condition, and you want to use that to jump start this bike. You could do that with a jumper cable, or there are battery packs now you get with these crocodile leads, and you can plug them in, and that will have a charge, or it will store current, which will help you boost up this battery, or your bike can start. And once it is started, you can actually ensure that the battery would charge on movement itself. Let me show you that. So the one I use in this case is the last one that I'm going to be talking about is the MI power bank. So I've been using this for about 4 years now. This thing is a 11,000 mAh power bank with a jump starter facility, and like I said, this actually comes with the crocodile clips. How does this work is, let me untangle that. Here you have output here which says DC cable. You plug in this DC cable into that outlet, and post that you can see that these have lit up, and these two leads actually go into the positive of the battery and the negative of the battery. So we can plug these into the battery, or a weak battery or a dead battery. Now in this case, what I'll do is, since I have a perfectly working battery, let me just disconnect this part for the demo. So the leads again go here into the negative part and the positive, and yeah, you can make out. So this is actually making a noise here saying that the connectivity is not proper yet. So once it actually senses that, I mean rather you have done a proper connection, put this into the starter, and you'll be able to see that here there's a reverse, correct, and a boost. So if it is correct, the green light is lit up, and all you need to do is turn on the bike and just crank it. So this will be providing the required 12 volts to start the bike up, and once it's started, it can continue and charge on that. Now this is good in an emergency. Now let's say you're going out and in a remote place, and you have a battery which is not really in a good condition, so it might be good to take that along. But using this as a primary, I wouldn't suggest, because a trickle charger is better to maintain the health of a battery, and this one here, which is portable. I think it should be about 2 kilos. I don't know, maybe 1.5. So I don't know. Yeah, so this is actually good to take it in an emergency, but the first thing to do is make sure that your bike's or a car's battery is in good shape by making sure you have a trickle charger in place. Okay, so these were the things that generally are being spoken about on some of the groups that I'm on. So I thought, why not make this thing and address it, because this is going to be useful for absolutely anybody now during the lockdown phase. Okay, hope everybody's safe, stay home, and do look at the maintenance of this once every 2 weeks. You just go down to your basement, plug this up, or if you don't want to buy any one of this, that's fair enough, where you can just start, leave it for about 5-10 minutes and turn it off. Just ensure that you don't turn on any aux lights or any one of the power outlets are left open as is, which might draw current. Alright guys, thanks a lot, bye bye.